Hello, students. Good morning. Here in this video, I am going to give you an overview of different topics. So, let us read together and try to understand. First of all, define English language. Suppose you maybe ask that's define language and especially English language. So, English is a West Germanic language that originated in early medieval England and has become the global lingua franca for communication, science, and business. So, this way you can give the answer. You just remember the history of English literature, a history of English language. We discussed in the class that Germanic tribes, first of all, when we get proof, and then history starts from somewhat from 1100, right? 10th century somewhat. So when they Germanic tribe, they came and then they invaded Britain, right? And from there we get they Germanic tribe invaded to Britain, and they brought them with them. uh, that's a tribal language, and then it mixed with Britain language, and that time Britain was known as Briton, right? And English was Englisk, right? So then they came, and then that language was mixed, and this way English language was originated. So that English was known as Old English. Then after 600 years, another invader came and he attacked. Then he brought, or he and his team brought uh, French with them. Then French mixed with English, and French became the dominant language, and English was the second language. It was the for lower class, and French was the language for elite class. But after some time, French came back with French words. English came back with French word, and then became middle English, right? And finally technology, and after some time sometime means 5 6 years, 500 600 years, then around 1500 century, right? So then technology came, industrialization, machines, right? So that's a printing press. These are the breakthrough, and because of this, language changes, which was known as the Great Shift vowel, right? The Great Vowel Shift. So the Great Vowel Shift, because tendency was that we used to press on the long vowel, and then we used to speak. So that was shifted to small or short vowels. That was the big change, which new language was known as modern English. So this way you can elaborate according to number, you can elaborate the question, right? Moving to next, that is define word accent. Word accent or word stress is the relative emphasis or prominence given to a certain syllable in a word when speaking. Simple. A word, suppose speaking, this is a word speaking. So you just speak it again and again, is speaking, right? So you'll find that one of the part which is being emphasized than other, means we are emphasizing in one syllable, speaking, right? Speaking. So king is the, that's a not spe is the, this syllable is being highlighted. So that is called, when the same they are telling that word accent means is the relative emphasis or prominence given to a certain syllable in a word when speaking, when we speak, so that it should be multisyllable word, means single word, then सिंगल सिलेबिक मोनोसिलेबिक वर्ड में तो कोई दिक्कत ही नहीं है, आप एक ही कोई वर्ड है दैट विल बी हाईलाइटेड, बट देन व्हेन यू टेक mono bisyllabic or that's a trisyllabic word, so then definitely one of the trisyllabic word, so then in that word there must be three syllable, so one syllable will be relatively emphasize, so that will be known as word accent. So this way you can define word accent along with examples what I have given you. You can give the same examples. So do practice of it. I am going to add in next slideshow, but here on demand I'm making this video because someone told me at least give some little hint about uh, different answers, like what can be written. So this is the video, just I'm giving overview, very simple answer how to start the uh, answer. So this way I'm going to speak on it. So here example they have given in the word photography, right? So the stress is on the first syllable fo. In photography and photographer, difference, very good difference they have made. Photography, it's a photo, sorry, it's not like that. Wait a minute. That's a pho photographer. Photo photo, right? Graphy, photography, right? Photograph, photograph, photograph. Okay. So three syllabic photo, right? Graph. So here this is primary syllabic, this a primary stress, this one for, and topography not emphasize much. The stress on is this first syllable. Here stress is on this first syllable. But in another example we can say photographer. The stress shifts to the second syllable. Photographer, right? So that's a photo photographer. Photographer. So stress is on shift in the to photo. This is, so this way you can explain word accent, right? Now moving to third question, syllable. If you may be asked, that's a right. You may be asked to write, define the syllable and types of syllable counting and all. So a syllable is a single unit pronunciation, right? Single unit. No? The syllable is what? Syllable is the vowel in the word. Roughly, if we roughly define syllable, definition of syllable, so that's the number of vowels is are equal to number of syllable, है ना? So syllable somewhat that's a vowel or unit. So that's a single unit of pronunciation. Okay, having one vowel sound. Single unit of pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants. This is A, and these are the surrounding consonants. C consonants, R consonant, A vowel, right? So syllable is a single unit of pronunciation. That's a spoken part we are talking about. So that's a single unit of pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants. Sometimes vowel sound is car, right? So in this car, that's a sound is prominent, vowel sound. So example, they are giving the word cat has one syllable. The word water has two syllables. This is the example. So ca, it's a cat, one monosyllabic word. Water, right, is the two syllable. Water, right? Very roughly if I say that, simplify the definition of syllable, तो हम जब शब्दों को तोड़ तोड़ कर बोलते हैं, हम कंपेयरिंग करते हैं, तो सीखते हैं ना कि इसको ऐसे बोलना कि आई वुड लाइक टू invite our chief guest, right? तो chief guest this way, मतलब किसी किसी वर्ड को हम की वर्ड्स को के वॉवल को स्पेशली एम्फेसाइज करते हैं, और जब हम जिस जिस वॉवल को जोड़ देकर बोलते हैं, या कैसा बोलूँ मैं सिलेबल को, कि मतलब एक वर्ड में को तोड़ तोड़ के बोलते हैं, दैट broken part is called syllable, right? Again and again, many a time I repeated examination. Ex- examination, है ना, ऐसे तो तोड़ तोड़ के बच्चे को सिखाते हैं ना. जब when you were child, you must be told, you must be learn this way only. Your mother must have told you speak uh, registration. तो registration. So this is the syllable. So syllables are also useful to remember spellings also, right? So this way you can explain the syllable. Now moving to next question. हाँ, डिफाइन वर्ड एक्सेंट, है ना, ये हो गया. फिर सिलेबल हो गया. फिर डिफाइन इनफ्लेक्शनल एम्बिग्विटी. इनफ्लेक्शनल एम्बिग्विटी, एम्बिग्विटी इज interpretation, two or more interpretation of any word, phrase, clause, or sentence. So let us see. This occurs when a word grammatical ending, right? When a word's grammatical ending can be interpreted in more than one way, making the sentence meaning unclear. Either sentence meaning is not clear, or there are more than one interpretation, right? So then that inflectional ambiguity comes. Inflectional and derivational, right? So in both the term, inflectional versus derivational, in both the term, what is important word is grammar. Please remember, right? So there is something grammatical mistake is there, and that is why this ambiguity is arise. So this occurs when a word's grammatical ending, inflectional is grammatical ending, can be interpreted in more than one way, right? So uh, example, walk and walking. What example they have given? Flying, right? I saw the flying birds, right? Now problem is that, is flying a verb describing what the birds are doing, or in an adjective describing the type of birds? So here birds action means right now birds are flying, right? Right now birds are flying, or this is the category versus birds. For example, heavy bodied birds, uh, owl, right? And other flying birds, which peacock, right? they don't have much uh, flying capacity. ये बहुत ऊपर नहीं उड़ सकते, they can't go higher and higher. Light bodied birds can go higher and higher, skylark and other, है ना? तो दो तरह से इसका इंटरप्रिटेशन, दिस सेंटेंस talks about two. I saw the flying birds means birds those are flying right now. So here we are talking about verb or action of birds, they are flying. That I saw the flying birds means birds are flying in the sky. Okay. Another is I saw the birds who can fly, right? So here flying becomes an objective. An earlier one, flying, is an verb, right? So both the sentences have different interpretation, and this is called inflectional ambiguity, right? So please remember this term. Now define a compound sentence. A sentence that contains at least two independent clause. Compound sentence, right? So that is independent, two independent clause. Two independent clauses, C plus C makes one independent clauses. Two independent clauses is called compound sentence, right? Joined by a coordinating conjunction. Many a time we had discussed in the class, common coordinating conjunctions are fan boys. These are the coordinating conjunctions. Fan, for, and, not, but, or, yet, so. These are called coordinating conjunctions. A sentence that contains at least two independent clause. Example, I cooked dinner, independent clause, and my mother washed the dishes. If you read this one only, my brother washed the dishes, you read it and you will get, okay, your brother, sorry, your brother washed the dishes. But if you read first one, that is I cooked dinner, that is also separate. So both the sentences, independent or separate, are joined by the coordinating conjunction. Coordinate, that's a, as name suggests that this is the conjunction which just coordinate two equal sentences are called coordinating conjunctions, and usually there are seven coordinating conjunctions. Fanboys, I have already told you what does fanboys. Other than that, conjunctions have four variety. First is coordinating conjunction, second one is subordinating conjunction. As name suggests that one is subordinate, so another one definitely will be main uh, conjunction, main clause, right? And subordinate clause, that is clause which is dependent on main clause, is called subordinating conjunction. Example, she could not come, this is independent clause, because she was ill. Because she was ill, that is dependent clause. So because, however, though, these are the examples of subordinating conjunction. And third variety is correlative conjunction. Conjunctions, so that's a correlative conjunction which join two two uh, parts of speech. For example, she is neither, she is interested not only writing, but but not only in she's interested not only in writing but also in reading, right? So this is called coordinating conjunction, because writing and reading, you have talked about two interests, and that is joined by not only but also, neither nor, either or. right? These are the examples of correlative conjunctions. Last category is actually conjunctions which are subjunctive adverbs. Subjunctive adverbs are used as conjunctions, however they are not conjunctions but subjunctive adverbs, which are like moreover, right? Like therefore. These are the connectors, and these are the subjunctive uh, adverbs but acts as conjunction. So this is the fourth category. Anyway, now moving to next question. What is intonation? Intonation is the music of language. You can remember this way. That's the music of language. The way the pitch of your voice rises and falls, rising, falling tone of a language, right? Rising, falling. Sometime if I say that, no, sorry, I cannot come. That's a, along with my words, my tone speaks about my intention, right? I said, no, sorry, I cannot come. Another tone, I said, no, sorry, I cannot come. Say something another about my intention, different intention, because of my tone, my pitch, my rising and falling tone. You can understand my purpose, my intention, right? So that is called intonation. So what comes under intonation? Stress, tone, and pitch. These are the three ingredients of intonation. So please keep in mind, and whenever you write intonation, so you can write about all these three. These are the suprasegmental features of a language, right? Which are known as stress, pitch, and tone, and which is collectively called intonation or music of language or rising falling tone, which comes under intonation, right? So that is helpful to clarify a speaker's intention. Okay, example, your voice usually rises at the end of the question. Yeah, that's an example. Are you coming? So that is simple statement, are you coming? But we generally add our voice, are you coming? So that is question, right? Are you coming? So that is the question. That's a way of asking question. Are you coming? No. Are you coming? Because you are asking question and falls at the end of the statement. I am coming. I am coming. That falls. That's a in low voice. The that cannot be spoken this way, that I I am coming. I am coming. No, no. I am coming. And are you coming? That's a question. Okay. So this way you can answer. Now moving to next. Name two characteristics of the English language. Two characteristics. Number of characteristics we have learned, right? That's a arbitrary, non-instinctive, right? Duality, right? Double pattern. Any. Here they have given two. Res- Receptivity. English is a famous for borrowing words from other languages, right? So this is another character, right? We English receives many words from here and there. English has taken from here and there means from other languages. So English has taken many words from other languages. We have, let me recall the chart, right? 26% French, 26% Latin, right? Latin 26%, okay? And then I 4% other languages, this person. So that's a words have borrowed from other languages and make enriched English, right? So English is a famous for borrowing words from other languages. yoga from Sanskrit, cafe from French. Just two examples. Yog is Sanskrit original word sound, but it becomes yoga, but it is the Sanskrit word which has taken from Sanskrit, and cafe from French. है ना? 26% words, French words we speak in English. We have discussed that pie chart in the class, right? 26% words from French, 26% from Latin, है ना? So still we speak many words, Latin words, French words, and that is a now that's a part of English because English has accepted these words, right? Even Hindi words and other words, Sanskrit words, right? Okay. Now, another characteristic is that's a flexibility. It has a relatively fixed word order, right? But allows word to function as different parts of speech. However, word order is fixed, subject, verb, and object. That is there. But then sometime what they say that but allows function uh, to function as different parts of speech. For example, I'm telling you that reading is a good habit. Is a good habit. So here ing form act as a subject or that is that is subject. But if you say that I like reading, I like reading. So here this reading acts as an object. So this is the difference. Okay. Now flexibility, it has a relatively fixed word order but allows words to function as different parts of speech. Right? Flexibility, it has a relatively fixed order but allows words, right? So that is we have discussed. For example, uh, water can be a noun or a verb. So water everywhere, nor a drop to drink. Here, water is used, that's a Coleridge poem in which that's a very world famous line water everywhere, nor a drop to drink. So, here, water, that's a water means ocean, right? Water, earth is surrounding by water everywhere, but nor a drop to drink. That all waters are used as uh, as the noun, right? Another example, if you water the plant, it grows. So that water is verb, right? Here. So these are the very good examples you can quote. First is I'm not writing here whole line of Coleridge. Water everywhere. You can take out from that everywhere. Water everywhere, nor a drop to drink. So here water is used as an noun. And another example, if you water the plant, if you water the plant, it grows. It grows. Right? So here water is used as a verb. So this is example, good example of flexibility. Okay. Arbitrary in language. Arbitrary language, that is, there is no natural or logical connection, no natural or logical connection between word sound and its meaning. If I say fan, right? So then fan image will come in your mind, and one author has defined language with two terms, signified and signifier, right? So then concept and the word. So there is no relation between the word and concept. Why should I say fan? I could have spoken this a rubber, but no. Name this device name is fan. Another one is tube light. Another one is AC. So we have named the words for our convenience, but there is no logical connection between words sound or between words and meaning, right? So no connection. In other way, we can say that no connection between the concept and the word, right? So this character is called arbitrariness because there is no logical or natural connection between the word and the object. This way also you can define. Now, there is nothing dog like about the sound of the word dog. A dog like, right? So, thus our mind will go with that animal. But in Hindi, it's kutta. अब डॉग अलग है इंग्लिश में, कुत्ता हिंदी में बोलते हैं, फ्रेंच में शियन बोलते हैं, शियन, राइट? सो दैट इज ऑल्सो डिफरेंट साउंड. तो वाई नॉट कॉमन वर्ड? कोई लॉजिकल कनेक्शन नहीं है. हमने सिर्फ बिकॉज ऑफ आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग वी डेवलप्ड एंड वी हैव kept the name, and that is very natural, that must be there. We have to name. That is why we give name for any new thing. You know, whenever a software is made, so they must have thought that what's the name is kept. Different buildings are given names, right? Why? Because of then only we are able to locate, right? So able to फाइंड आउट, है ना? तो उनको समझने के लिए, हम नेविगेट करने के लिए वी गिव अ नेम ऑफ द टॉपिक्स और नेम ऑफ एनीथिंग, है ना? तो दिस नेचर इज कॉल्ड, नेचर ऑफ लैंग्वेज इज कॉल्ड arbitrariness. Now moving to next question. Adjective clause. Clause is what? Clause is a group of words which must have the combination of subject and verb. क्लॉज का मतलब ही होता है कि उसमें सब्जेक्ट और वर्ब होना चाहिए उस ग्रुप ऑफ वर्ड में, एंड दैट इज, बट समटाइम that group of words can stand alone, sometime cannot, and that is why there are two different clauses. Basically, in this way, clause are classified into two categories: independent clause and dependent clause, or main clause or subordinate clause, right? So this is one category. But clauses are, according to parts of speech, clauses are categorized in different way: subjective clause, objective clause, or clause, or that's a predicative clause, right? And then noun clause, right? Then verbal clause, adjectival clause, adjective clause, adverb clause, or adverbial clause, this way. So here they are talking about adjective clause. It is a dependent clause, adjective clause that modifies a noun or pronoun. See, adjective is the word which qualifies noun or pronoun. So this is the group clause hai, that is why this is group of words which qualifies noun or pronoun, right? And that's a dependent clause because that cannot speak a whole about the situation. If I say that's a very beautiful flower pot, so what? Beautiful flower pot is what? So that is dependent clause to main clause, and it usually starts with who, whom, who's, that, which, usually, right? Okay, sorry. I'm extremely sorry. Beautiful flower pot is the example of adjective phrase and adjective clause, because this is the difference between phrase and clause. Both are group of words, but phrase do not have combination of subject and verb, but clause must have. And here, that is why clauses generally starts with wh words, like the book that I borrowed from you, right? They have giving example. The book that borrowed, I borrowed from you is excellent. So this is extra part which is added here in the sentence. The bold part describes the book, right? That group of words talks about the book, right? So that is called adjective clause. Very good example. Even you can say that the girl who's is standing outside is my daughter, is my friend, is my sister, right? So the girl who is standing outside, who is wearing red frock, right? The girl who is short heighted or long heighted is my sister, is my friend. This way you can tell, and you can give the example of adjective clause. Why? Because this who or what I was the only this is the uh, poem that I was talking about yesterday was John Keats poem, right? So that whole elaboration, whole group of word is used for the poem, particular poem. This way you can give any example, is a great example of adverb clause, right? Now, independent clause. An independent clause is a group of words that, again, clause is group of words that contains a subject and verb, I told you, and expresses complete thought. It can stand alone, right? The sun shines brightly. The sun, that's an independent clause because subject and verb, combination of subject and verb. So that is called independent clause, which does not depend on any other clause, right? So that is, I write articles, right? That is independent clause. Now, moving to next topic, phonology. Phonology is the study of pattern of speech sound. Phonology is the study, logy is the study. So study of what? Study of pattern of speech sound used in a particular language. It focuses on how sounds function within that system to create meaning. Example से समझते हैं. Example studying how the P sound in pin differs from P sound in spin. Very good example. P and P. Pin and spin and sip. All P we can see here, right? मिरर के सामने तीनों वर्ड्स को जस्ट स्पीक ऑल दीज थ्री वर्ड्स इन फ्रंट ऑफ मिरर. पिन and other words start from P. That's a puff, pen. Every time air of, that's a puff of air creates in our front part, oral part, P. But when you say spin, is pips, right? Sprinkle, right? Then spaghetti. Then peak sound is that P situation, articulation is different. Spin, right? Spoken. So that P is different. But in case of first P, primary P, puff of air is clear. It can be seen in front part or oral part, right? And but when you say sip, chip, right? Then P is where you have to lock your lips tightly. That is, that's P sound is different. So this study is called phonology, where pattern of speech sound used in a particular, so where we study pattern of speech sounds, right, used in a particular language. So pattern, primary p, middle p, and final p. This study is called phonology. Now, syllable counting is a process of breaking words down. Syllable counting. So, words are breaking down into process. What the process of breaking words down into their individual rhythmic units, right? Based on education. Education, four syllable word. So syllable counting is the, what's the role of syllable counting? It divides a word into different syllable. मतलब syllable तो वो है ही, there are syllable, but a word is broken down according to syllable. Like syllable, that's a water, so that there are two syllable. So these are the two parts of a word. So actually, roughly we can say that syllable means parts of word, right? Different parts of word. So how can we count the syllables? There are different methods of syllable counting, and one of the methods is, that is the uh, chin down method. So when examination, you can place your hand, right, this under your chin, and then you speak, so that how many times your chin touches your palm, that's, this way you can count number of syllables. So that's the one of the methods, and other methods are there, we have already discussed in the class. So chin down clapping method, chin down method, even there's a counting, vowel counting method, and other methods. So you just recall and give the example. Now next is semantic ambiguity. There are number of ambiguity. Syntactic ambiguity. Syntactic is ambiguity in, because of structure. There is problem in sentence structure, that is called syntactic ambiguity. There is problem in the word using, like choice of words, so that creates the semantic ambiguity, because one word changes the meaning of the whole sentence. So here let us see. This happens when a word or phrase has more than one meaning, right? So suppose word or phrase, why phrase? Because group of words can change one meaning in a particular context. Example, the bank is open, right? So it is a river bank or financial building. So bank, or I saw a bet. So which bet? This bet I saw, or flying mammal I saw, right? Or, so for example, these are the different words we can give example, right? I am well, right? So I saw a well, right? Now next is name one challenge in translation. What's the challenge in translation? Untranslatability. Untranslatability, that is, some words are deeply rooted in specific culture. So untranslatability, right, means not able to translate. So because some of the words are deeply rooted with in a specific culture and have no direct equivalent in other language. In Hindi term, झूठा, झूठा नहीं, that is जूठा actually, जूठा, जूठा. By someone's, touched by someone's mouth, oral part, and has no single word equivalent in English. जूठा का कोई substitute नहीं है. गोधूली बेला, I gave you example in class. गोधूली बेला मतलब शाम का लास्ट लाइट ऑन द अर्थ, अराउंड लास्ट लाइट ऑन द अर्थ. जब शाम को गाय की धूलों, गाय जब वापस लौटती थी जंगल से, तो उनकी धूल वॉज द सिंबल ऑफ इवनिंग, कि बिल्कुल शाम, जो देर रात, शाम होने, रात होने वाली है, देर शाम का सिंग, जो वो था, वो घंटियों की आवाज़ और उसका धूल, गौ 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 मतलब गाय के पैरों की जो धूल थी, वो इट वाज द सिंबल ऑफ इवनिंग, लेट इवनिंग. तो वो उसका कोई सब्स्टिट्यूट नहीं है. ट्वाइलाइट हम कहते हैं, ट्वाइलाइट, पर अगर आप उसको गौ धूली बेला, तो कोई कनेक्शन नहीं है उसका. तो दिस इज अनदर एग्जाम्पल ऑफ challenge, translation challenge, right, which can be named as untranslatability means which cannot be translated. Okay. IC analysis, immediate constituent analysis, introduced by Leonard Bloomfield, and it is a method. Please remember the name who has given this idea. So, this idea is thrown by Leonard Bloomfield, and it is a method of breaking down a sentence into its smallest structural part to understand the construction. Right? So, what breaking down a sentence into a smallest structural parts. है ना? This is the method. This is IC analysis, immediate constituent, immediate constituent, immediate constituent. We have to find. So sentence को break down करते जाओ उसके immediate constituent में. There's a process, and in which we break down the sentence into its smallest structural part और constituents. उसके constituent तक हम ले आते हैं to understand its construction, how this sentence is made. For example, the tall boy. So that's a is broken into the, then tall boy, then tall boy again is broken into next constituent, right? That constituents is also called structural part. So that is the basic definition of IC analysis, immediate constituent analysis, in which the process where we break down the sentence into its constituents, right? Okay. Now define performance in linguistics, proposed by Noam Chomsky. Performance. Performance refers to the actual use of language in real life situation, which may include mistakes like stammers or slips of tongue, right? For example, if I say that no, now a very good example I quoted in the class also, I would like to felicitate so and so, but instead of felicitate, slip of tongue, I would like to facilitate, है ना? Facilitate our guest of the honor, guest of honor. So facilitate and felicitate both are different, but the place of L and CI is different, and then sound is different. But then this is called slip of tongue, and this is for beginners, for who learn. So sometime slip of tongue, sometime we stammer. That is stammering is also because of Performance, because when we speak something and we learn, both are different approaches. Theory is different versus performance is different, is called performance in linguistics. Then next part, explain the relationship between language and society. Sociolinguistics explores how language use is affected by social factors. What language we speak and social factors like class, gender, ethnicity, education. These are the basic factors which decide our language, right? Sorry. So that is, our class matters, our gender reflects when we speak, ethnicity, right? And education. So when we express, that is why it is said that man is known by the company he keeps. Because our company, our shows, our class, our language reflects which class we come from, what is our gender, ethnicity, education. एक सेंटेंस से हमारा काफ़ी 90%, 95% our personality reflects by our language. You must have seen that politicians, their slip of tongue, their usage of words, right? Ghanta, focus, that shows their class, gender, ethnicity, and education. That's a very good example. So, here you can, this is sociolinguistics. हमारे आसपास का वातावरण, क्लास, सब कुछ रिफ्लेक्ट होता है हमारी लैंग्वेज से. दैट इज वाई लैंग्वेज वर्सेस सोसाइटी, विच सर्कल वी मूव, राइट? what class we come from, what is our male female gender. One of our students explained very well. That's a, if girl girl scold someone, so that's very soft language she uses, and a boy, he uses very rough tone. That difference between male and female category. So that is the sociolinguistics, right? Social identity, people use language to signal which group they belong to, right? Slang used by teenagers, social identity. One mature girl or mature lady, she speaks differently, and one immature or college going girl, their girl or boys, their conversation must be different, right? So that is social identity. College goers, unka like alag, that they speak, their stuff must be different, right? Their opinion must be different. But the senior ladies or professors, their stuff, their thinking process, their age factor, their knowledge, and everything will be different. That is called social identity. Regional dialects, language changes based on geography. British English versus American English, very good example, right? So, regional dialects, we create one language between two groups, two community with among, like our friends, that is, so that region, geographical boundaries matters, right? And other factors are also there that decide, and that is why that becomes the identity of particular region. I spoke in the class, it is said that कोस कोस में बदले पानी, कोस कोस में वानी. Around every 15-20 miles language changes. जैसे कि कोस कोस मतलब डिफरेंस, डिफरेंट, लाइक डिस्टेंस, है ना? तो एवरी डिस्टेंस लैंग्वेज, वाटर की तरह लैंग्वेज भी चेंज हो जाती है, थोड़ा 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 चेंज होके, और एक कम्युनिटी में एक मेजर चेंज दिखाई देता है. दैट इज कॉल्ड रीजनल डायलेक्ट्स. फिर रजिस्टर, वी स्पीक डिफरेंटली टू अ बॉस, उनसे हम बिल्कुल फॉर्मल लैंग्वेज बात करते हैं, मैं बात करते हैं, देन टू अ फ्रेंड इनफॉर्मल. तो फॉर्मल वर्सेस इनफॉर्मल, कितना प्रिविलेज आप फॉर्मल इनफॉर्मल या सेमी फॉर्मल भी होता है, आप कितना डिफरेंस, कितना प्रिविलेज ले सकते हैं किस सिचुएशन में, दैट इज कॉल्ड रजिस्टर. रजिस्टर मतलब आपको हर डोमेन की एक अलग लैंग्वेज है, कोर्ट लैंग्वेज, जुडिशरी लैंग्वेज, साइंस लैंग्वेज, राइट, एंड देन बैंकिंग लैंग्वेज, तो वो भी एक दैट कम्स अंडर दिस रजिस्टर. Register means particular terms, tone, and sentences which are used for particular area or field are called a register. Example they have given: a doctor might use medical jargon with colleagues, but simple words with a patient. कलीग्स के साथ वही बात डॉक्टर एक्सप्लेन करते तो दे मस्ट यूज jargons, but the same when discuss then they with discuss with patient, tone, words, choice of words, sentence will be different. That is the good example of register. So this is the note on socio linguistics. Now define a syllable. Explained: onset, nucleus, and coda. Onset syllable is the basic unit of speech, right? And its internal structure, these are the internal structure, right, is often visualized like onset means consonants at the beginning of the syllable, nucleus, the core of the syllable, usually a vowel, right? And consonants that follow the vowel, right? Nucleus or vowel. Cat. Phonetic transcription of cat is this. This is onset. This is coda. Both are consonants. And this is nucleus, that is vowel. Vowel. So beginning consonant, one consonant, two consonant, whatever, how many consonants are known as before the vowel are known as onset, after the vowel consonants are known as coda, and vowel is called nucleus of the syllable. So these are the different elements or parts of the syllable. So this is something we have discussed today, right? They have given note, nucleus, coda together are called rhyme. That is also we have discussed in the class. Nucleus and coda, right? Example, I let me give you example like go, right? So go. So that's so sorry. That is not example. That is consonant and vowel. No, this is not example. If I say that's uh itch, itching, right? So that's a itching, itching. So that's a I and ch, right? Let me give you another example of rhyme. Yes, that's a about, about. So that's a ow and t. This syllable is rhyme because this is nucleus and this is coda. Make a rhyme, rime, rhyme. So this is the example of rhyme. So this is an overview of different topics where you can add a lot which were discussed in the class. Even you can add by your own, but please make, now this is the time to make cheat notes also, right? Because which is very important for you, small reference notes along with your deep study. So पढ़ते जाओ detailed notes but make some cheat notes also, right? So that is all for today. Thank you so much. God bless you.